All right, so you're diving into Stoicism. Pretty ambitious reading list you've got there.
Well, hopefully. It's actually a pretty practical philosophy.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of thought of Stoicism as being, all about like self-denial and, like toughing it out no matter what.
Yeah, that's a common misconception.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, they do emphasize resilience, but it's not about suppressing your emotions.
Okay.
It's more about understanding them and choosing how you respond to them.
Interesting. So what are we diving into today?
Today, we're going to be looking at one of the most fundamental Stoic principles.
Okay.
It's the idea of pay attention.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of simple, like something my teacher would tell me in school.
Well, it is simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. We're going to be looking at a blog post by William Moore.
Okay.
He writes The Heroic Stoic.
I've heard of that.
He really emphasizes how this idea of pay attention isn't just about, like being less distracted.
Right.
It's really a foundation for living a virtuous life.
Okay. I'm starting to see why this is a deep dive.
Yeah, it's a simple idea, but it has really deep implications.
I like it. Simple but powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get too deep into pay attention, maybe we should do like a super quick Stoicism 101, just in case anyone listening is new to all this.
Sure. So basically, the Stoics believe that virtue is the only good.
Okay.
And that living virtuously is the path to happiness.
Got it.
They also had this idea that the world is full of things we can control and things we can't.
Right.
And they emphasized focusing on what we can control, which is basically our own thoughts, our actions, our reactions.
Just like don't stress about the weather because there's nothing you can do about it.
Exactly.
Makes sense. But how does this pay attention thing fit into all of this?
It's the key. Think of pay attention as your mantra.
Okay.
It's a constant reminder to be present in each moment. And when you combine that heightened awareness with virtuous action, you create like this really powerful cycle of growth.
Okay. So like you're saying I should pay attention to what's going on around me.
Yeah.
And inside me.
Exactly.
And then I use that awareness to make better choices.
Yeah.
More virtuous choices.
That's it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's about consciously choosing to act in accordance with virtues like wisdom and courage and justice and temperance.
Whoa. Virtues. It's starting to sound a little like Sunday school in here.
Wow.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. But can you break that down for me? How does pay attention actually work with these virtues?
Okay, sure. So think about it this way. You're faced with a tough decision at work.
Yeah.
Do you speak up even if it's risky?
Uh-huh.
Or do you just stay silent?
Yeah, I've been there.
Oh.
Sometimes it feels easier to just, go with the flow.
Right. But pay attention encourages you to do more than just react. It prompts you to assess the situation, consider the potential consequences, and then choose the course of action that aligns with your values.
So it's like I'm not just blindly following the crowd or, giving into fear.
Right.
I'm actually like making a conscious choice based on what I believe is the right thing to do.
Exactly. That's courage in action.
I like it.
And remember, it doesn't have to be some grand heroic act. It can be as simple as choosing to be honest in a difficult conversation.
Right.
Or standing up for what you believe in, even when it's uncomfortable.
So everyday courage.
Yeah, exactly.
I think a lot of people might struggle with this whole idea of constantly trying to be virtuous.
Yeah.
It can feel a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like you had to be perfect all the time.
Yeah, I get that. But the Stoics weren't about perfection.
Okay.
They understood that we're all human, we're going to make mistakes.
Right.
What's important is the intention, the commitment to try our best and to learn from our missteps.
So it's more about progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
Like I'm not going to become a Stoic sage overnight,
Right.
but I can try to be a little bit better each day.
That's the idea.
I like that.
William Moore uses this great analogy. He says it's like building a wall brick by brick.
Okay.
Each act of paying attention and choosing virtue is like laying another brick. And over time, those small actions add up to something much bigger and stronger.
I love that. It makes Stoicism feel a lot more attainable. So practically speaking, what might this look like in everyday life?
Let's say you're stuck in traffic, which is definitely outside of your control.
Yeah.
Instead of getting frustrated and letting that anger take over, you pay attention to your reaction.
Okay.
You notice that frustration bubbling up, but you choose to respond differently.
So instead of, fuming and honking the horn, I take a few deep breaths, maybe listen to some music.
Yeah.
And Except that I can't control the situation.
Exactly. You're choosing to respond with patience and tranquility instead of letting anger dictate your actions.
Right.
And each time you do that, you're strengthening your ability to control your emotions and make choices that are aligned with your values.
So it's like pay attention becomes this internal alarm system.
Yeah.
Reminding me to pause and choose the virtuous path, even when it's tempting to go the other way.
It's a practice, for sure.
Right.
But the more you do it, the more natural it becomes.
Got it.
And that's where the real magic happens. You start living a life that's more aligned with who you want to be.
This is starting to feel less like philosophy and more like a practical guide to a better life.
That's exactly what Stoicism is meant to be. It's not about abstract ideas. It's about living well day by day.
I like it.
And pay attention is one of the simplest yet most powerful tools they offer us.
You know, I'm getting the sense that this pay attention thing has a lot in common with the whole mindfulness movement, that's so popular these days.
Yeah.
Am I right?
You are. There's definitely an overlap.
Okay.
Both mindfulness and Stoicism emphasize paying attention to the present moment without judgment.
Right.
But there's a key distinction that sets the Stoic approach apart.
Okay, so what's the difference between Stoic pay attention and just regular mindfulness? They both sound like they're about being present, right?
They are, but mindfulness often stops at observation. It's about noticing your thoughts and feelings without getting carried away by them.
Got it.
Stoicism takes it a step further.
Okay, I'm listening. What's that extra step?
Action. The Stoics didn't just want you to observe your thoughts and emotions. They wanted you to use that awareness to fuel virtuous action. It's about connecting your present moment awareness to choices that align with those virtues we talked about. Wisdom, justice, courage, temperance.
So it's not just about being aware, it's about using that awareness to become a better person.
Exactly. It's about making the conscious choice to act in a way that contributes to your own well-being and the well-being of others.
Okay, I'm starting to see the power in that. It's like mindfulness with a purpose. But let's get practical here. If someone's listening to this and thinking, okay, I want to try this pay attention thing, where do they even begin?
It really is as simple as it sounds.
Yeah.
Start by making pay attention your mantra.
Okay.
Remind yourself throughout the day to be present, to notice what's happening around you and within you.
So no need to download another app or sign up for a meditation retreat. Just start noticing.
That's the beauty of it.
Okay.
You can practice it anywhere, anytime.
Right.
Waiting in line at the grocery store. Pay attention to your breath, your surroundings, your thoughts.
Got it.
Stuck in traffic. Pay attention to your reactions. And consciously choose a response that aligns with your values.
Okay, I can see how that would work. But wouldn't it get exhausting to be on all the time, constantly trying to be virtuous?
Remember, it's about progress, not perfection.
Right.
William Moore emphasizes that we shouldn't aim for flawlessness, but rather for consistent effort.
Makes sense.
He says, if we can be just a little bit better today than we were yesterday, then we are on the right track.
That's a really reassuring way to think about it. It's not about being a stoic superhero. It's about making small but consistent improvements over time.
Exactly. And those small changes can have a ripple effect. Imagine how different your life would be if you consistently chose patience over anger, kindness over judgment, courage over fear.
Wow. That's a powerful thought. It really puts the emphasis on those everyday choices, those little moments where we can choose to act virtuously.
And that's what pay attention is all about.
Yeah.
It's about empowering you to make those choices, to live a life that's more aligned with your values, and to become the best version of yourself one brick at a time.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today. I know I'm feeling inspired to put this pay attention wisdom into practice.
Me too. And for everyone listening, we encourage you to join us.
Yeah.
Start by noticing, then choose virtue, and watch as those small, consistent efforts transform your life.
Thanks for diving deep with us. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged.
And keep paying attention. You never know what you might discover.